Got my pieces over here at the scroll saw now, and I've got a number 7 blade fastened to the scroll saw. I'm going to go ahead and begin to cut the one book end. And while I'm doing this, I'm just going to talk for a few minutes and give you a couple things that I've been thinking about recently about emails that I've got. Also, I've got a fan running in the background. It might be a little noisy, but it's still pretty warm out here for the first day of fall. Still, let's see, 83 in the garage right now, which is better than it has been, but still a little warm. Been getting some emails lately about the website and some things I do. And one of the requests I'm getting a lot of is to do more complex patterns. And that's something I've been thinking about. And I might do some of that, but to be honest, I've kept the patterns kind of simple because that seems to be what people want. Most of the people that come to my website, or a lot of the people that come to my website, are fairly new to scrolling, and I don't want to have them start out on patterns that are more complicated than what somebody new to scrolling should start out on. That's one excuse, I guess. The other excuse is that I really don't enjoy making real complex patterns. My patience level is probably not what it ought to be, and I enjoy these simple patterns, and what I enjoy doing is trying to come up with fairly simple patterns that are easy to cut, and yet at the end of the day you still have a useful project or a nice decoration or something. And that's generally my goal, is to come up with that I can come out here and in one afternoon, or one night in this case, come out and completely finish a project. I enjoy doing that. I don't like working on projects over multiple days. I used to do that when I built some furniture and stuff. It would, each project would take a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And to be honest with you, by the time I got done, I'd already lost interest in what I was doing. And that's kind of how the hobby of scroll sawing took off for me. Was my patience was not that great, but I wanted to do woodworking, and I wanted to finish projects in a night. And the scroll saw is wonderful for that. It definitely gives you a chance to build a project, build it fairly quick, and still have something that make nice gifts. Or a lot of times I just give the stuff away that I make. I'm not into trying to sell my scroll saw work anymore. Did that for a little while, and honestly don't find a lot of enjoyment in that part of it. I enjoy just sitting out here and cutting, and I enjoy working on the website, and I have as much fun doing that as I ever did trying to sell my projects. Also, while I'm cutting this, I want to remind everybody that the contest drawing is going to be this Saturday night, and that'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the United States. And what I'm planning on trying to do is having right at 8 o'clock I'm going to go live, and I'll have a link on the website to where you'll be able to go to watch this drawing live. And so I'm going to do streaming video. And if you have a reasonably fast internet connection, DSL or cable, or something comparable to that, you should be able to watch the stream. If you don't, I am going to record the stream, and I'll put the recording up on the website after we're finished. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully a couple people will log on and watch. I've got the interior cut out now, and we're down to our last few cuts on this piece, so I just want to talk to you again for just a minute. I'm going to do the arch on the top of this piece, and I'm going to come in from the side. And when you're scrolling circles or ovals or any curved surface like this, you want to try to not stop the saw in the middle of the cut if you can help it. Get yourself going, find a good radius, get your hand in a position where you can pivot the piece, and try to make one clean, smooth cut. And now that I've said that, I probably won't be able to do it, but let's give it a try. I'm going to come in right here on this edge, and I'm going to take my time until the teeth start to bite into the wood. And then once they start to bite, go ahead and get on that line. And take your time, there's no reason to be in a hurry. But try not to stop. Try to make this cut in one pass, and cut that line right in half. Okay, something like that. I slowed down a couple times myself, but I think you get the idea. If you start and stop a lot, you'll have a lot of extra sanding to do. So try to make that as smooth and nice a cut as you possibly can, and you won't have near as much sanding to do. Okay, now the next thing we have to do is we're going to cut out these slots for the runners, and let me back this camera back up just a little bit. And these slots are where the piece is going to slide on these runners as they get put together. So I've cut these, or designed these patterns to where they're exactly 3/4 of an inch wide. If we put that together on this runner, which is exactly 3/4, it's going to be too tight. So I'm going to cut this proud just a little bit. I'm going to go probably a 32nd of an inch, or maybe even less. I'm just basically going to cut right on the outside of the line to get this where we need it. Now when we get done, if the runners still don't fit on it quite like we want, we can always come back and either use a rasp or something, or a file to get our fit a little better. Okay, and one thing I did there is when I was cutting out this last section, I got a little close, so I think we're going to be a little tight out here on the edge. But before you leave the saw here, go ahead and put your rudder in there and see what kind of fit you got. And that's just about perfect. It's going to be loose enough that it's going to slide up and down that runner with no problem at all. So I'll go ahead and cut out the other side, then I'll finish cutting the rest of the pieces, and I'll meet you back over at the assembly table. Down to the very last piece I need to cut out of this second stand here. And I want to show you something that I've talked about before, but I've never really shown you an example of it. I cut all the rest of the pieces of this pattern out with just a straight scroll saw blade, a number 7, and I used that because it's very quick to cut with those type of blades in this 3/4 inch material. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to a scroll reverse blade, and hopefully when I do put the video together and edit it, I can get you some really good pictures so you can see it. And after I cut this piece out, I'm going to flip it over and show you the difference between the cut quality of the two different types of blades. Okay, got that piece cut out. Now what I want to do is flip this over, and hopefully I'll be able to get the camera zoomed in on this good enough to show you the difference. Okay, if you can see how rough these edges are up here that were cut with the straight scroll saw blade, and how much smoother this edge is right here with the scroll reverse. Now that's what the scroll reverse does for you. It actually cuts in both directions, so it makes the back side of the project require much less sanding. It's not as aggressive of a blade though, so you won't be able to cut through thicker material as quick and easy with it. In this case I was in a little bit of a hurry to get done, so I went ahead and used the number 7 straight blade. So that's the difference. When you hear me talking about the scroll reverse blades, that's why I use them. And on thinner material, it's definitely preferable to use the scroll reverse blade.